Every single piece of metal in this wine room showed up to our shop already cut to size. We didn't even touch a saw. CRL Laurence did partner with me on this video, but I've been using them for years and I am a huge fan of the Fallbrook system. I've been in the glass and glazing industry for 25 years. I've been creating content since before the first iPhone, and I have the privilege to marry those two things together to bring you content like this. Stick around because I'm going to show you exactly how I measure for these systems, including the 3/16 trick that makes it fit perfect every single time. The Fallbrook system is incredibly versatile. It's mainly used for offices, but my buddy Keith at My Architectural Glass, he uses them for steam showers because of their ability to seal in tightly. Now I'm going to go over 3 different variations of this system. First, there's the Fallbrook standard system. This is the most low profile version of it, typically just uses 3/8 or 1/2 inch tempered glass. And this system is designed to give you less metal and more glass. What sets this apart is that when you have a glass wall with a door in the middle, only the door has a frame and only the outside perimeter has a frame. The rest of it is frameless, which gives it that very high-end and unique look. The system that I've been using lately is the Fallbrook XL. What I like about the XL is that it can fit laminated glass or double insulated glass units, and I actively use both for the purpose of offices and wine cellar enclosures. Using laminated glass, you can hit an STC rating of 42, which is perfect for office enclosures where sound dampening is important. But what us shower door guys fail to realize is that same STC rating is perfect for wine cellar enclosures because often there's a loud cooler running on the inside, pushing cold air, and that sound is audible, but not with the Fallbrook, especially with insulated and laminated glass. Finally, there's the Fallbrook XL NY system, and this is a mutton-style true divided light system. I've been doing grid systems a long time, and typically we just stick flat bar onto large sheets of glass. This system allows you to build out individual pieces of glass with a more robust frame and a more premium look of the real grid system. Primarily at Baron Glass, we like to use the Fallbrook for wine rooms. Let me explain why. Wine rooms are inside of every custom home, and a lot of my customers don't even drink wine. They just simply do it for the resale value and the pure artistic expressions. Now, when I first started doing this about 20 years ago, the goal was always to have as little hardware as possible. We typically just use shower door hardware and tempered glass. And over the years, that system has evolved and it forced us shower door guys to evolve with it. The main reason is that insulation factor. Any shower door guy who's ever installed an insulated wine cellar knows that the biggest challenge is always sealing the gaps. That is not a problem with the Fallbrook because it has stops on all 3 edges of the door. The handle latch set keeps that glass pressed against the sills on the 3 edges, but what makes it unique is that down below it has what's called a drop pin seal, so that when the door is in the closed position, a sill drops down and touches the floor. But then when you go to open that door, there's a pin that pushes in the side of the sweep and it raises as you open so that you're not dragging dust across the floor, potentially causing scratches over a long period. I'm going to walk you through some of my favorite recent Fallbrook assemblies that we provided. This first one was actually the first one that we ever installed and possibly the first one installed inside of Colorado. It was the first time I ever used the Fallbrook, and this is when I learned how to measure and order. And so on this system, we had a door panel with a transom above, all laminated glass, and the stationary panels were 3/4 inch insulated glass units. It was 2 walls at an off angle, and the design team at Fallbrook, they helped me figure out that I needed to get a piece of custom flashing to kind of cover the corners. And there's some nuances that I learned as I started doing this, but it was really simple because all I had to do was provide the finished net frame sizes, and using that information, the team over at Fallbrook were able to provide me finished cut sizes of every single piece of glass and every single piece of metal, and pretty good instructions so that when we received the metal, we were able to just reference the shop drawing, cut each piece of metal to size, put it together with the included hardware, and it fit perfectly with the also provided finished cut glass sizes. Now, I'll be honest with you, we kind of struggled with this a little bit at first because we'd never done it before. Like I said, we're not storefront people, we're shower door guys. So it was a little bit of a learning curve, but after a few of them, we got the hang of it. And now they offer cut to length sizing. We'll get into that later. This next system we installed in Telluride, Colorado. And at this particular job, they wanted thicker black lines in between the panes and at the corners. And one thing about the Fallbrook is that sometimes you got to use a post at the corner. And so CRL Laurence provides the 1 7/8 inch posts, which can be used at the corners so that each piece of frame has termination points. But on this job, we purposefully use more of them than we needed to in order to give the vertical lines that extra width. And as you can see, the results are absolutely stunning. On this one, we're using 4 hinges, which is perfectly capable of holding that oversized glass door. This is all 1/2 inch glass, by the way, on this one. And of course, that latch keeps it secure. And that black framing combined with the black steel inside the room combined with the black wine racks just completes the look. The reason that Fallbrooks are perfect for wine cellars is that everybody wants those thick black lines, and this provides exactly that. The Fallbrook is relatively easy to install once you get the hang of it. It's actually best if you can build the complete frame or build the frame in sections ahead of time. If you can, if you can swing it, like if you can bring it into the house in one piece, that's definitely the way to go. Build it on a nice flat table in the shop and then put it together like a storefront frame in the field. You typically screw the frame in at the top and at the sides. There's going to be a small gap, but you can easily cover that up with a flat bar and some silicone, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I want to take a moment to go over how I measure these jobs. On the CRL Laurence website, if you type in Fallbrook and then scroll down and find the details, you can actually download a measure sheet that has everything that you need, which is actually what we ended up doing. It has all the standard frame details, lock options, handle options, and it's really easy to just check the boxes as you measure. But here's how you do it. So shower door people, we like to measure tight center lines, and we then break that down in Showers Online later. The CRL Laurence shower program is perfect for that. But with the Fallbrook, it's a little bit different. When you order it, especially cut to size, you actually want to measure and order net frame sizes. And what this means is that you deduct however much room you want to get the frame into the opening ahead of time. So what I typically do is I measure the opening tight with out conditions, just like I'm measuring a shower door. And then later I'll figure out what the deductions are. I'll actually square up any out conditions. So I'll go with the lowest number. So for example, if I had a rectangle, right? And at the bottom it was 72, and at the top it was 72 1/8 because the side grows bigger by 1/8 to the top. I would actually go down to the smallest dimension at the bottom, the 72, and I would deduct exactly 3/16 of an inch. So I deducted 3/16 of an inch from tight from the smallest dimension, and that ensures that the frame will fit in there just right. Now, obviously the gaps are going to be a little bit larger, especially when you have the 1/8 inch out condition up top combined with the however much you deducted. But again, you could easily cover that up with flat bar and silicone later, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. You could then send that in to CRL Laurence and they can help you design a system. Now you can design these yourself in storefronts online or entrances online, but I prefer to get help from the guys who design it every single day, because then they can figure the cut sizes for you and they can figure the glass sizes for you. Now the best part is that you can order your frames cut to size, which is by far the best thing I've ever done in my life, because they'll send the frames in a knockdown kit and each miter is already cut. Each piece of metal is perfectly to the size that it needs to be. And not to mention, when you order your hardware cut to size, it saves a ton of time and room for error in the shop. This increases your speed to install and your margin. Now I want to drop a plug from my friend Keith with My Architectural Glass. Here's a few projects that he used the Fallbrook for, and he has nothing but good things to say about it. If you don't believe me, you can check out the podcast where we feature Andy with CRL Laurence, and one of the topics of discussion is the Fallbrook. If you're interested in trying the Fallbrook for yourself, simply go to the CRL Laurence website, type in Fallbrook at the top, you'll be greeted to the homepage where you can read brochures, you can check out the parts, you can download the measure template, and you can order your Fallbrook cut to size, which is the very best part. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Peace.